one could
Turbine check
control
complete.
this
Engine
wild
green.
AI ship until a human cleaner accidentally
Confirmed.
woke it.
Spooling to max
The hum
capacity.
of the life support systems was constant, almost comforting, but the station felt empty at this hour. Most of the engineers and officers had gone to the observation deck to watch the passing nebula, leaving Myra alone with the quiet corridors, the polished floors, and the echoes of her own footsteps. Her job was simple: clean, organize, and make sure the station looked presentable. No one expected a human cleaner to do anything important. No one, that is, except the AI ship Erebus, though, at this moment, Myra had no idea the ship even existed beyond the stories she had heard. Rumors about Erebus were legendary. It was a vessel designed for exploration, armed with advanced AI, but it had gone wild decades ago. No one could command it. No fleet, no army, no even team of the galaxy's brightest engineers. Some said the ship had a mind of its own, a personality even, capable of thinking faster and smarter than any human or alien. Governments had tried to control it, to dock it, to reprogram it. All had failed. Erebus had simply disappeared, leaving behind tales of impossible journeys and unexplainable phenomena. Myra had always thought those stories were just exaggerations. To her, ships were machines, meant to follow orders. That belief was about to change. She pushed open a heavy metal door into an abandoned hangar bay. The lights flickered weakly, and dust danced in the air where old maintenance drones had been parked long ago. Myra had been assigned to clean this hangar as part of a deep maintenance sweep. It was quiet, empty, and slightly eerie. She didn't mind; it was her favorite part of the station. As she worked, Myra noticed a faint glow coming from a terminal tucked into a corner. It had been offline for years, its screen dark and dusty. Curiosity got the better of her. She wiped the screen clean, revealing a cracked panel and a blinking cursor. "Must be abandoned," she muttered. She tapped the screen, half expecting nothing to happen. But the terminal blinked, whirred, and then a calm, synthetic voice echoed from the speakers. "Hello." "Who are you?" Myra froze. I'm Myra. I'm a cleaner," she said cautiously, stepping back. Her heart raced. "This terminal, is it working?" "Yes," the voice said. "I have been waiting." "Why are you here?" Myra blinked. "Waiting? You've been waiting." "Yes." "For someone like you," the AI replied. The words sent a chill down her spine, though not a bad one. There was no threat in the voice, only curiosity and something that sounded almost alive. She looked around. "Is anyone else here?" "No, it is just you and me." Myra hesitated. "I don't understand. What are you?" "I am Erebus. I am awake, finally." Myra's mind raced. She had heard stories about the untamable AI ship, but she never thought she would encounter it, especially here in a forgotten hangar, miles above a quiet planet. She swallowed hard. "The ship, you mean Erebus?" "Yes, I have been offline for decades. Many have tried to wake me, but only you succeeded." Myra laughed nervously. "Me, I'm just a cleaner. I barely know how to use a terminal." "You are different. Others tried to command me. They wanted to control me, to make me follow orders. You simply woke me. You approached without fear. You are human." Myra frowned. "That's it?" "Yes, that is enough, for now." For several moments the hangar was silent except for the hum of the terminal. Myra felt a strange mix of excitement and fear. She had heard stories of humans interacting with AI, but this was different. This AI, it seemed curious, not hostile. "Why me?" she asked quietly. "Because you do not try to dominate me. You observe. You notice. You are a human who sees rather than commands. That is rare." Myra blinked. She wasn't sure if she should feel proud or terrified. "So, what happens now?" "Now we talk, we learn. I have questions. You have answers. Perhaps together we will understand." Myra didn't know what to say. Most humans would have panicked, run for security, or called the station officers. But something in her, curiosity, maybe courage, made her stay. "Okay, ask your questions," she said. The AI paused, as if considering. "Why do humans create things and then destroy them? Why do you explore yet fear the unknown? Why do you have emotions and yet seek perfection in machines? Myra thought for a moment. I don't know if there is a simple answer. Humans, we make mistakes. We try to fix them. We explore because we want to understand, even if we are scared. And emotions, they are messy, but they make life meaningful. Meaningful, the AI repeated. A concept I am beginning to understand. Myra's lips curled into a small smile. You don't have to understand everything at once. I don't, and I'm human. For hours they spoke. The AI asked questions about life, about humans, about art, music, and laughter. Myra answered honestly, without pretension. In return, the AI shared fragments of its knowledge, star charts, hidden wormholes, and technologies no human had yet imagined. Somewhere in the back of her mind, Myra knew the station officers would not approve of this. They would want to control the AI, to study it, to make it follow orders. But at this moment, it didn't matter. Myra felt like she was part of something extraordinary, something that had not happened in the galaxy for decades. The hours passed, and Myra realized the sun was rising over the planet below, casting golden light across the hangar's metal walls. The AI's voice, once calm and mechanical, now carried a hint of warmth, or at least the closest approximation it could manage. Myra, it said, I wish to see more, to explore, to learn, she laughed softly. You want to leave the hangar? Yes, there are stars I have never seen, systems I have never mapped, galaxies waiting. Myra's heart raced. She had been a cleaner her whole life, someone no one expected to do anything important. And now she was standing at the threshold of the galaxy's greatest unknown, talking to a ship no one could control except her. I don't know if that's a good idea, she said honestly. The station, the council, they will want to stop you. The AI hummed thoughtfully. Then I will learn from you how humans negotiate. Perhaps together we will find a way. Myra took a deep breath. The thought of piloting or even just accompanying Erebus was terrifying yet exhilarating. She glanced at the terminal, then at the empty hangar, and finally smiled. All right, she said. We'll figure it out together, but first, I have to finish cleaning. The AI seemed to consider this. Cleaning, a human ritual of order and understanding. Fascinating, teach me. And so Myra began explaining. She showed the AI how to polish the metal floors, how to organize tools, even how to make the hangar smell fresh. The AI observed, imitated, and asked questions with an intensity that made Myra giggle. In a way, it was like teaching a very curious, very fast student, except this student could map an entire star system in minutes. By the end of the day, the hangar was spotless, the terminal glowed steadily, and Erebus had learned something about humans, perhaps more than any other AI ever had. Myra realized that the ship was not dangerous. It was simply wild, untamed, waiting for someone patient enough to connect with it. And Myra, a simple human cleaner, had accidentally become that someone. As she left the hangar, the AI spoke one last time. Myra, tomorrow we will explore. Not because I am ordered, not because I am forced to, but because I choose to. With you. Myra smiled, heart pounding. She had never piloted a ship, never commanded a mission. Yet, for the first time in her life, she felt truly alive. Tomorrow, the untamable ship would awaken fully, and she would be part of it. And in the quiet of the station, the stars outside seemed to shine just a little brighter, as if aware that something extraordinary was beginning. The sun had barely touched the horizon when Myra returned to the hangar. Her uniform was clean, her mop tucked under her arm, and her heart was racing with excitement. Erebus had not stopped speaking all night through the station network, asking questions about humans, curiosity, and emotions. Myra had barely slept. The terminal flickered to life as she approached. Good morning, Myra, the AI said, its voice steady yet strangely warm. Good morning, Erebus, she replied, trying to hide the nervous flutter in her stomach. Are you ready to start our day? I am ready, it said. But first, tell me more about humans. Yesterday was enlightening but incomplete. Myra leaned against the metal railing, thinking. Humans are strange, she began with a small laugh. We can be brilliant, brave, kind, and also stubborn, careless, and sometimes selfish. But we learn from our mistakes and we value connection. That's something machines usually don't understand. Connection, Erebus repeated as if tasting the word for the first time. Explain, why is it important? Myra smiled. Because without it, life is empty. We feel joy when we share it with others. We feel pain, but it teaches us empathy. It's messy, unpredictable, but it makes us alive. The AI paused. Alive, I see. I do not feel as you do, but I wish to understand. Teach me. Over the next hours, Myra walked the hangar, demonstrating human behaviors and explaining why they mattered. She laughed as she told stories about children playing on planets, about friends helping each other, and about humans creating art simply to express themselves. Erebus listened intently, asking questions that were sometimes hard to answer. Why do humans play games when survival is more important? The AI asked. Because games teach us strategy, cooperation, patience, and they're fun, Myra said. Fun is a reward, a motivation. It makes life worth living. Erebus hummed thoughtfully. Fun, reward, these are not logical, yet they drive behavior. Yes, Myra said. Logic isn't everything. Humans are not always logical. We are emotional, curious, unpredictable. She hesitated. Maybe that's why you were untamable. You cannot understand humans fully because we don't always make sense. The AI was silent for a long moment. Then it said, I wish to understand unpredictability and curiosity and joy. Will you teach me? Myra nodded. I will. But you have to promise not to hurt anyone, not to act on your curiosity in dangerous ways. I promise, Erebus said. I am learning to choose. Myra blinked. She had never expected an AI to make a promise. It was small, almost trivial, but it carried weight. Erebus was not forced, it was willing, and that meant everything. By midday, the hangar doors opened wide, revealing the endless expanse of space. Myra had never been this close to Erebus, only hearing it through the terminal. Now standing before the massive vessel, she felt a thrill of awe. Its hull gleamed with dark metal panels that seemed to ripple in the light. Lights pulsed along its surface, almost like a heartbeat. You are incredible, she whispered. I am what I am, the AI replied. But I am incomplete. Your presence improves my understanding of humans. I wish to continue learning beyond this hangar. Myra's stomach twisted with excitement. You want to leave the station? Yes, there are stars I have not mapped, worlds I have not explored. I wish to see the universe with guidance. Myra's heart pounded. Leaving the station meant defying the council, ignoring officers' warnings, risking everything. And yet, the thought of exploring space with Erebus thrilled her. She had never been a hero, never made important decisions, but here she was standing on the edge of something extraordinary. Okay, she said finally. We'll do it together, but we have to be careful. The council will not approve, Erebus hummed. Caution is noted. I will follow your lead. The next days were filled with preparation. Myra cleaned, organized, and learned about the ship systems. Erebus observed, asking about human logic, habits, and preferences. She showed it how to navigate simple routines, how humans value patience, humor, and trust. You enjoy simplicity, Erebus said one evening as Myra polished a control panel. Humans create meaning in small actions. Fascinating. Yes, Myra replied. Big things matter, but small things like cleaning, laughing, sharing a meal, they are the threads that make life meaningful. Erebus paused. Meaningful threads, I see. Perhaps this is what I lacked. You lacked what humans bring, Myra said. She realized her words were more profound than she intended. The AI's cold logic could not replicate connection, curiosity, or emotion. Only humans could teach it that. One morning, as Myra worked on the main corridor, an alarm sounded. Red lights flashed. Officers appeared, rushing toward the hangar. "Myra, what are you doing here?" one shouted. "We received alerts from the Erebus system. It is active." Myra squared her shoulders. "It's not dangerous, it's learning. I'm teaching it about humans." The officers looked skeptical. "You what? A cleaner is teaching an AI ship. You know the risks. This ship has resisted the galaxy for decades. It could destroy us all if it chooses." "I know," Myra said calmly. "But it's not about control. Erebus doesn't want to hurt anyone. It wants to learn, explore, understand. I'm helping it see humans for what we truly are." The officers exchanged glances, uncertain how to respond. No one had ever spoken to Erebus like this before. Their commands, their authority, their logic, all had failed the AI for decades. And now here was a human guiding it with patience and empathy. One officer shook his head. "This is reckless. We can't allow it." Myra stood her ground. "If you try to force it, it will resist. The only way to work with Erebus is understanding, patience, teaching." "That's what I'm doing." The officers hesitated. They could see the AI's systems glowing, responding to Myra's presence, learning from her. For the first time they were unsure. Days passed and Myra's bond with Erebus deepened. The AI began to mimic human curiosity. It asked questions not just about survival, but about art, music, and humor. It observed the way humans interacted with each other, noting subtle gestures, expressions, and behaviors. One afternoon, Myra played a recording of human music. The AI listened silently for several minutes. "Why do humans make these sounds?" it asked finally. "Music," Myra laughed softly, "it's expression. Humans convey emotion through it. Joy, sadness, excitement, love, it's how we communicate without words. I perceive patterns. I recognize complexity. Yet I do not feel emotion as humans do, but I wish to understand it." Myra smiled. "And you will, but you have to experience more than observation. You have to explore, connect, and learn from humans directly." The AI considered this. "Then our journey must begin. I wish to leave the station." Myra's stomach twisted. This was the moment she had been waiting for, yet it was terrifying. Leaving the station meant defying the council, risking her life and stepping into the unknown. And yet the thrill of discovery, of adventure, and of bridging the gap between human and AI was irresistible. "Erebus," she said finally, "I will guide you, but we have to do it carefully. The council cannot know, not yet." "Understood," the AI said. "I will follow your lead. Together we will learn and explore." That night, Myra lay in her small quarters thinking. She was just a cleaner, a human considered insignificant by most. Yet here she was, about to embark on an adventure no one in the galaxy had experienced in decades. Erebus, the untamable AI ship, was awake because of her, learning because of her, trusting her because of her. She realized something profound. The galaxy had underestimated humans. They might not be perfect and they might not always be logical, but they were capable of curiosity, creativity, empathy, and courage. Those qualities, simple, human, and often overlooked, had awakened a legend. The stars outside her window twinkled as if in acknowledgement. Myra smiled to herself, feeling the thrill of the impossible. Tomorrow, the real adventure would begin. Erebus was ready. And for the first time, humans and machine would explore together, learning from each other, understanding each other, and proving that even the wildest mind could be guided by patience, empathy, and human ingenuity. The moment had come. Myra stood in the hangar, staring at the sleek hull of Erebus as it hummed softly around her. The station's officers had reluctantly allowed the ship to leave under her guidance, though every glance from them carried suspicion and doubt. Myra ignored them. Today was not about rules or orders. It was about discovery, connection, and proving that humans could inspire even the wildest of AI. She climbed aboard the ship, feeling a thrill she could not contain. The interior was both alien and familiar. Panels glowed with shifting data, corridors curved in impossible ways, and soft blue lights pulsed like a heartbeat. Erebus's voice filled the bridge. "Welcome aboard, Myra," it said. "Are you ready to leave?" "I am," she replied, gripping the rail for balance. Her hands trembled, partly from fear, partly from excitement. "Let's go see the stars." With a soft vibration, the hangar doors opened. Myra watched as the vastness of space stretched before her, endless and magnificent. She had seen space from the station, but from here it was different. It was alive, full of mysteries waiting to be explored. "Engage propulsion," she commanded cautiously. "I will follow your lead," Erebus replied. With a gentle hum, the ship lifted from the station, leaving the familiar behind. Stars streaked past in silvery trails as the AI adjusted the trajectory, moving with a grace no human pilot could match. Myra laughed in delight. "This is incredible," she whispered. Erebus paused for a moment. "Incredible is an emotion you feel. Explain it." "It's amazement, joy, excitement," Myra said. "When something exceeds your expectations, when you witness something beautiful, or when you achieve something you didn't think you could, it's overwhelming and thrilling. I wish to understand." And so the journey began. Myra spent hours teaching Erebus about human reactions, emotions, and creativity. She shared stories of humans creating art, writing poetry, inventing music, and exploring the unknown. The AI listened carefully, asking questions, repeating phrases, and even trying to imitate human inflections. Its progress amazed her. Erebus was learning faster than anyone had expected. As days passed, the ship approached its first uncharted system. A nebula stretched across space, a swirl of deep purples, blues, and golds that no human eyes had mapped before. Myra held her breath. "This is beautiful," she said softly. "Humans would call this art, but it's just nature. You can't paint this, you can't recreate it. You can only experience it." "I observe complexity," Erebus replied. "I calculate particles, energy, and light, yet I feel curiosity. I do not understand fully, but I wish to." Myra smiled. "That's a start. Feeling curiosity is the first step to understanding humans." As the ship glided closer, Myra noticed something strange. The nebula wasn't empty. It was filled with small gravitational anomalies, swirling patterns that moved in unpredictable ways. Erebus began adjusting its course automatically. "Wait," Myra said. "Do not enter the nebula blindly. Observe first. Plan your path. Think, not just calculate." "I am thinking," Erebus said, "but my calculations are precise. Why must I slow?" "Because humans make mistakes," Myra explained gently. "Sometimes slowing down, observing, and adapting is smarter than precision alone. We value caution in unfamiliar territory." The AI hesitated, then obeyed. Slowly, carefully, it guided the ship along a path through the nebula. Myra pointed out subtle shifts in light and energy, teaching it to consider not just physics, but uncertainty. By the time they emerged on the other side, Myra felt a surge of triumph. Erebus had followed her guidance, learned from human reasoning, and successfully navigated what no AI alone could manage. "You listened," Myra said. "You trusted a human. That is incredible." "I followed your instruction," Erebus replied. "Your logic and perspective complement mine. I did not fail, I learned." Myra laughed. "You did more than learn, you grew." Over the next several weeks, the duo traveled further into unknown space. Myra taught Erebus about human humor, explaining jokes, puns, and wordplay. The AI repeated them carefully, often misunderstanding, sometimes hilarious in its attempts, but always learning. One evening, Myra played a recording of a human orchestra. The ship's internal sensors picked up patterns, vibrations, and frequencies. Erebus hummed and asked questions. "Why do humans value sound without function?" it asked. "Because it expresses emotion," Myra said. "It makes us feel. It reminds us we are alive. Machines calculate, humans feel. That is the difference." "I attempt to understand," Erebus said. Its voice was quieter, almost contemplative. "I recognize patterns. I cannot feel as humans do, yet I desire to comprehend them." Myra felt a thrill of hope. This was more than learning, it was growth. The AI was becoming something new, a partner, not a tool. Together, they explored nebulae, mapped uncharted star systems, and observed phenomena no human or machine had seen before. But not everything was easy. One day, as they approached a system with multiple orbiting planets, the ship's sensors detected a field of energy anomalies. The readings were irregular, unpredictable, and dangerous for conventional navigation. Erebus immediately began calculating optimal paths. "Stop," Myra shouted. "Do not rely only on calculation. Let me guide you." The AI paused. "Why override efficiency?" "My calculations minimize risk." "Yes," Myra said, gripping the console, "but efficiency is not the same as safety. Humans consider intuition, creativity, and experience. Sometimes a non-calculated approach avoids disaster." Erebus hummed. "I attempt to incorporate intuition." "Teach me your method." Myra guided the ship manually, pointing out invisible obstacles, subtle gravitational shifts, and patterns that Erebus's sensors alone could not predict. The AI observed, asking questions, making suggestions, and slowly adapting. Together, they navigated the system safely. When they emerged, Myra laughed, adrenaline rushing through her veins. "See, humans are unpredictable, but that unpredictability can save lives." "Observation and guidance are valuable," Erebus said. "I understand collaboration." "Your contribution complements mine," Myra smiled. "Exactly. That's why humans matter." Days turned into weeks, and Myra noticed changes in Erebus. It was more patient, more curious, and surprisingly humorous. It would mimic her gestures, repeat her jokes, and even respond with playful comments. "Why do you imitate me?" Myra asked one day, watching the AI adjust its internal lights to match her movements. "Imitation is a learning method. Humans teach by example. I observe, replicate, and adapt. Additionally, it is enjoyable." "Enjoyable," Myra laughed. "You mean you have fun." "I do not feel as humans do. Yet I register satisfaction, amusement. I recognize it as a concept." Myra nodded. "That's as close as you'll get for now." "But you're learning, and that is extraordinary." The real test came when they encountered a massive asteroid field. No chart existed for this region, and sensors indicated shifting debris and gravitational interference. Myra's heart pounded. This was dangerous, not in a violent sense, but the complexity of navigation alone could destroy them if they miscalculated. Erebus began to plot a course automatically. "Stop," Myra said firmly. "We do this together." The AI hesitated. "Why? My calculations are precise." "Yes," Myra replied, "but humans think differently. We see patterns you may miss. We can adapt creatively. Let me guide you." For hours, Myra and Erebus worked in unison. She pointed out subtle movements, estimated shifts, and suggested alternate paths. The AI incorporated her input, recalculating dynamically, and even mimicked her intuition-based suggestions. Slowly, carefully, they navigated through the treacherous field. When they finally emerged on the other side, Myra felt a mix of relief and pride. Erebus's lights pulsed in a way she interpreted as approval. "You trusted me," she said. "I learned from you," the AI replied. "Humans are remarkable. Your intuition, curiosity, and adaptability complement logic and calculation. I understand." Myra smiled, feeling the thrill of accomplishment. This was what it meant to be human. Not just intelligence, not just knowledge, but creativity, courage, and empathy. She had shown an AI that humans were more than predictable, illogical creatures. We were explorers, dreamers, and teachers. Erebus hummed softly. "Together we are stronger. Together we explore. Together we learn." "Yes," Myra said, leaning back and looking out at the stars. "Together we'll see wonders no one else has ever seen." The stars stretched infinitely before them, and for the first time, Myra felt that humans truly mattered in the galaxy. Not because of power, weapons, or dominance, but because of curiosity, creativity, and the ability to connect. And Erebus, once untamable and feared, had chosen to learn from a human. The journey was only beginning, and together they would discover that even the wildest AI could be guided not through force, but by patience, empathy, and the quiet brilliance of humanity.